Welcome to another edition of Slam Down Podcast. And this time we're going to be covering Hell in the Cell. To me, there's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives, but I'm going to break the show down. I didn't see the kickoff match, but I didn't see the point of the kickoff match either, to be honest. Cruiserweights going against cruiserweights. There was no storyline, no reason for the match. They're just doing good guys versus bad guys. You know, there was no reason why them three are teaming against them three. There was nothing. So, but the main show, they kicked it off with Roman Reigns against Rusev, and Roman Reigns is getting a little bit better, but I don't feel he should be carrying the title. I still don't believe he should be a face. He should be a heel. And the Rusev had him in 2 camel clutches and one using a chain, and Rusev still manages to lose. Okay. For me, that's a big down. You know, it's Rusev should have gone over. But I did like it that they started with that as the first match. Now, the second match was just bloody awful. It just made Danielle Brooke look like she can't wrestle. It was awful. Bayley was average. It was just an absolutely awful match. Sometimes they do things so right, and then sometimes they just do things so bad. And that was so bad. Then we had Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson taking on Enzo Amore and Big Cass. Now, I've been saying this a couple of times now that I think Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson should go on to SmackDown because they've been jobbing. It was a good match, and it was good to see they actually got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson the win. But the way it was done, you know, they could even use Big Cass as a single wrestler. With the way he was doing big boots, dropping elbows. He looked explosive. You know, he looked very credible. But it's to me like they've got too many good ones and they don't know what to do. But it was a good match. Kevin Owens against Seth Rollins in another Hell in the Cell. But they decided to put this sort of a mid-card match. Okay, you're not really protecting your title and making your title as the main thing. And another thing someone said to me, why do they have to have the Universal Championship defended? You know, if that's your main title and that's your big title, that's always going to be your main one, why have that title on defence when you've got the women's title as main event? Why not save the Universal Championship for another time and have it main event in your show? But it was a good match. Getting bored with the Jericho interference. If they kept Jericho out and left it as it is with Kevin Owens getting the victory over Seth Rollins on his own, it would have been a lot better. It would have brought up Kevin Owens' credibility a lot more than what they were doing. But what do we do with Seth now? That's the one thing for me. What do they do with Seth Rollins? What's next? We saw Jericho's music at the end of the match after, you know, he went back and attacked Seth Rollins. Obviously, they're going to do Jericho and Rollins again at some point. But, yeah. Cruiserweight match. Right. Okay. I've repeatedly said about the Cruiserweights, about the Cruiserweight Classics, they had some amazing matches. And now it's like, what? Like, what's going on? Because we all know Triple H was the one that spearheaded the Cruiserweight Classics, and you can tell that Vince McMahon is somehow running Raw because you can look how bad it is. I like Brian Kendrick, but I could never see Brian Kendrick beating someone like TJ Perkins. But then also I know Brian Kendrick is a lot better wrestler than the moves he's using in WWE. I've seen him in TNA, I've seen him in Indies. He's got a lot more moveset and he's more of a high flyer. But they seem to they've pulled him back for some reason. It didn't flow that well for me. The same again. Changing the ropes, why? You don't do it for a tag team match, do you? It's a tag team match. Let's make it pink. It's a women's match. Let's make them orange. Just why? It makes me disconnect. It makes me... I know it's not pre-recorded, but it gives that feel like the Cruiserweights is pre-recorded and added into the show. But yeah, Brian Kendrick got the win and is the new champion. Then we had the Raw Tag Team titles with Cesaro and Sheamus against the New Day. I do not like the Cesaro-Sheamus team. I think Cesaro is one of the guys that should be at the top going for the world title. I really, really, really hate what they're doing. But the way it happened with... They won by DQ... And then they were arguing in the ring. It made it look like there was going to be another match between Cesaro and Sheamus. Do you know what I mean? It's just, what? Really? What the hell are you doing? And then we had... Probably my match of the night was Charlotte Flair against Sasha Banks. I really like this match. Really like this match. I think Sasha Banks at the start they could have done it a bit differently. Making her complete flat out. It was like she took a tablet that gave her all her energy back and she was like, she's not having my title, I'm ready to go. What they should have done is have her on the stretcher and her going, no, I can compete. Let me, and them going, no, you can't, have that sort of way to go about it. It's like that way, and then have when the announcers, when they say by forfeit, have a go, look, I'm fighting, like push everyone away and slowly get there. That's what I would have liked it that way. The rest of the match, amazing, but set for the finish. Now, I don't know if they went over time or if there was something not right, because for all the brutal spots with the chairs and everything else, was it chairs, tables? Why would you end it as she get flung on a table, hit an end? I wanted a high spot to finish the match. The way the match was gone, they needed a high spot finish. I'd rather Charlotte hit a finisher that puts Sasha for a table and then gets the victory. But are they doing it so Charlotte can't be defeated at pay-per-views? It's just like, okay, really? But overall, it's the best match. And now, is it going through Vince's head where he's thinking, hang on a minute, SmackDown's doing well. Maybe it's because they've got Smack Talk. I know what, let's do Raw Talk. Oh, fuck's sake. You put on a long enough Raw. Now you're going to add Raw Talk after that? Like you've done the... Like, is that what's going to happen now you've done the... What the Seriously, what the hell? I'd love to know what goes on in Vince's mind, or the writers that are doing this. We all know Raw is the worst product. SmackDown, a million times better. SmackDown's pay-per-view, SmackDown's pay-per-views are better. This, the Hell in the Cell, it was two good matches. Well, two good matches, one all right. The rest, flatline. Whoever's booking this needs to be shot. It is such a poor product. I'm going to say something now that people might not like, but I'm sorry, but it's true. I get into more of a TNA show than Raw at the minute. But it's not like they're doing anything to improve. That's the problem. They're bringing Goldberg in to try and help it, but doesn't matter what roster you have. It's down to the booking choices and the storylines. Because the matches are average. Like, at least with TNA, you know you're getting shit storylines. Maybe one or two good ones, but you know the matches are good. They always deliver good, solid matches in TNA. Where Raw, you might have, same again, one or two good little bits. Matches, maybe one, two. The rest just like meh. Because of poor booking. You don't have this problem with NXT, SmackDown. So why are there so many problems with Raw? Just does not make sense to me. I did find out last week it is two different writing teams as well for SmackDown and Raw. But if it's Vince that are running Raw, someone give him a shake. Because it was just bad. Now, this is why I do hope Triple H takes over. Because I think Triple H would do a lot better job. Lot better. But at the minute, it's awful. It's trying to think. I was trying to think of ways that Raw can be better. It's I'm lost for words, to be honest with it. It's like I'm trying to explain how they can improve it, but I don't even know how they can improve it. I can't. It's like I'm trying to think of something to give you with what they can do to be better. It's a struggle. For me, it's a struggle to try and suggest how they can improve the product. You know, people that are watching this, if you can comment and what your standpoint of as Hell in the Cell, because I really can't give anything. I can't give anything on how Raw can be better. Because like they say, when you hit bottom, there's only up. But knowing the WWE, there will never be an up. Because they don't handle things like that. In their mind, it's one way and that's it. And that's the way they've operated. But I think that's it for this episode. I can't give feedback or can't really give you much. Just poor pay-per-view done by a poor product. That's it. There's so many different things they could have done. But WWE don't operate like that. So, tomorrow we'll be doing the Raw review. As we know, Goldberg is going to be back. But one thing I will mention now is with Goldberg coming back, I'd like to see Heyman or Brock there. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see, Goldberg cutting out. Paul Heyman comes down face to face with Goldberg, or even Brock. Because they could do with Heyman coming down Goldberg. And, Heyman can say next week Brock. Or, build up to them actually having a confrontation in the ring and, do the right build up for it. I'd like to see the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar stare down. They need to build it up in the right way. But I think that's it. I don't think there's much I can say on that, to be honest, because, yeah. So, I want to say big thank you to everybody that's watching us live on Facebook or Mixlr. Even if you're listening to the show and it's finished live, you can always leave comments. I do get back to comments and do reply. So, big thanks to all the listeners. This has been another episode of Slamdown.